You're gone now, gone but not forgotten. I can't say this to your face, but I know you hear. I'll see you again. You never really left. I feel you walk beside me. I know I'll see you again.
When I'm lost, I'm missing you like crazy, and I tell myself I'm so blessed to have had you in my life. My life, I'll see you again. You never really left. I feel you walk beside me. I know I'll see you again.
When I had the time to tell you, I never thought I'd live to see the day
When the words I should have said would come to haunt me in my darkest hour. I tell myself I'll see you again.
I'll see you again.
I'll see you again.
You never really left.
No, 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 no.
I feel you walk beside me. I know I'll see you again. Someday I'll see you again.
I'll see you
like crazy. You're gone but not forgotten. I'll never forget you.
someday. I'll see
I
you
feel you
again.
walk beside me. I'll never leave you. Gone but not forgotten.
I feel you by my side.
I'm gonna take this moment